Pikmin 2 is a game where you play as an expendable employee going to foreign planets with the sole goal of collecting scrap to sell and pay off a massive debt. But everybody knows about Pikmin 2, even if it's the one that sold the least amount of copies. Lethal Company is a game where you play as an expendable employee going to foreign, quote-unquote, planets with the sole goal of collecting scrap to sell and meet a 3-day quota. Now, what do these games have in common? That's right, this fucking guy. I don't get paid enough for this crap. This is Lethalmin. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a fully functional Pikmin mod inside Lethal Company. Now, I've been playing this in a mod pack with my friends over the past year, and may I say, this shit may make the game way easier, but man, does it make it way more fun. And for those that are new to my channel, I personally don't mind something being made easier if it's also made much more enjoyable. Just ignore the 50 other quality of life mods I also installed. Don't worry, I'm still absolutely atrocious at Lethal Company, so honestly it just kinda cancels itself out. I might be stupid. Just to make this not an hour-long video about one run, I'm gonna be doing a few runs where my goal is to simply reach 10,000 credits. There will not be counting, but rather I will be using a quota rollover mod to keep track of my progress. This also means that as I progress through more and more quotas, this will also become more and more difficult. Not that I think I'll have a problem fulfilling the goal in the first place, though. This first run will be dubbed the test run, solely due to the fact that I spent the first 30 minutes troubleshooting random shit I messed with in a config.
I don't know if you've noticed what's happening with Pikmin.
Huh?
You can still throw them and you recruit them, but they do not move.
I know what happened, Fuck. Should I have made this the solo run? Yes. Did I spend all night trying to figure out how to draw Olimar for a thumbnail despite having this scheduled? Also, yes. Listen, I may draw my own thumbnails half the time and even animate sometimes, but I still don't consider myself an artist. You can blame Miku and Sephiroth here for convincing me to buy a drawing tablet last year, though. Right before I begin this run, though, as much as I would love to play as my beloved captains Olimar, Louis, and the President, there's just one glaring issue with them that is pretty deal-breaking. So for this one, I'll be playing as fucking Roadhog. Bro's just living off those Pikmin funds, I guess. The run itself actually starts off pretty basic. No, fuck off. Store. I don't want to store that. I bought 4 whistles and shovels, just so everybody has one. And what whistles do is they allow you to control Pikmin when you find them. And shovels, for anybody that hasn't played Lethal Company before, allow you to throw hands with most of the things that try to kill you in this game, which is pretty much anything that breathes. So in the Pikmin games, normally you can only find Pikmin by their onions, and then you can start reproducing them and all that good stuff. In Lethal Company, this is where it actually diverges. Every time you land on a moon, there will always be Pikmin sprouted randomly throughout. You can either pluck them or wait for them to bloom. In the base mod, waiting for them to bloom, if my memory serves correctly, is the only way to get flower Pikmin. Flower Pikmin for reference, attack, and move faster, which is very, very handy. However, I'm currently running Lethalmin Nightly, which is a beta branch of the mod that has an add-on that actually adds a few things. One of them being Nectar, which allows you to instantly get flower Pikmin. Back to the run, my first mission is to tell you guys to subscribe to my channel. I was never asking from the start. My second mission is to acquire as many onions as possible. These allow you to breed Pikmin and carry them over between days. If they have nowhere to go, they kind of just die when you leave the moon. In the source material, they're tied pretty linearly to your progress. You know, unless you're a speedrunner. In Lethal Company though, they are entirely random. 55% chance for any onion to spawn in a facility, while white and purple onions have a 22% chance, while also only spawning on high-value moons. I genuinely have no idea what constitutes as a high-value moon, but I found a white onion in fucking Luigi's mansion, so I guess I'll take it. If you have no luck finding the rare onions, though, you can also just buy a container from Pikmin 2 to store your purples and whites. The first quota goes pretty smoothly, actually. So basically, if the pellets have scrap value, it means that they're, like, not Woo! Starting off with a yellow and white onion, as well as 1,400 credits, which we use to buy pluckaphones that let you just instantly pluck Pikmin just by whistling them, an upgrade that halves all weights, as well as access to Black Mesa. And if you thought that us having all weight was overpowered, it's going to get so much worse in the scaling department. Arriving at Black Mesa, nothing really of note happens. I load in, get an ad for cancer-curing electric chairs. No way, electric chair cures cancer.
We're buying that.
Exit through a vent and spot him. This is the Water Wraith, a menace in Pikmin 2, added into Lethal Company with another separate mod. This guy's supposed to be a menace here, but he's just kind of stuck on the catwalk. Countering him right now is just as simple as leaving the moon. Back to Luigi's mansion, most of the chaos actually happens on the outside. Fuck him up! This moon is very flat, open, and has a high power cap, essentially meaning lots of monsters can spawn outside here. So we snagged an onion and some treasure, then deemed our numbers high enough to start some chaos. The main enemies here tend to be eyeless dogs and baboon hawks, with the masks also being a consistent problem on pretty much any moon. So long as we have shovels, we can deal with baboon hawks rather easily, while eyeless dogs are much better dealt with using Pikmin. For some reason, they glitch out their AI, causing the dogs to stay in their dive animation, allowing you to also sneak in a few hits in with the shovel. The masks, however, I'll just refer to as zombies, you actually need to deal with yourself, as they have the special ability now to turn your Pikmin into Puffmin, killing them and turning them against you. On top of that, if a zombie grabs you, you're pretty much dead. Ah, fuck. Luckily though, most of the time they're very easy to kite. Now this is where even I start feeling a little bit iffy about balance. You see, I have a mod that lets you sell the bodies of whatever monsters you kill. In Config, the values look pretty normal and balanced, but for some reason in-game, the prices are massively inflated. Like, I should not be getting 600 credits for killing one baboon hawk, especially with how easily they're taken down with late game upgrades. Though, LGU also has an upgrade that has them drop sellable samples, so maybe in the future I should just use that instead. Now, like I said, I don't mind things being easier if they're more fun, but even for me, okay, that's a little bit too much. Anyway, our Pikmin squad did end up getting wiped here, but luckily you don't have to worry about Pikmin extinction in a non-Pikmin game. We made off with a bunch of baboon hawks as well as an eyeless dog corpse, which not only is worth almost 1,000 credits, but also grants 54 Pikmin when brought to the onion. The formula for that is actually pretty simple. Onions and luminal Pikmin values are equal to the item's weight. The luminal uses scrap and onions use corpses. And for anybody wondering, yes, you can bring your dead friends into the onions. It revives them, so I have that turned off. I somehow got killed by an eyeless dog here. Fucking hell! Getting denjied in a movie theater, I watched my friends reproduce some more Pikmin in the first game's impact site, before checking in on the quota and buying a speed upgrade and a shovel damage upgrade. Arguably the two most overpowered ones you can get. Like, seriously, this triples the damage of your shovel and gives you a massive run speed boost. Though, in my opinion, anything mobility related heavily falls under the, yeah, it's just really fun. I can't justify the protein powder though, I just want to be a one-man army. Don't worry, he's still absolutely atrocious at this game. After making quota and becoming one step closer to clearing our imaginary debt, we head into Super Mario 64's Castle Grounds, which is similar to Luigi's Mansion in the sense that it's big, has lots of loot, enemies, and is relatively flat and open. What sets it apart, however, is its internal layout, which is a mineshaft? Yeah, I think version 80 kind of broke the moon. The mineshaft layout isn't the worst, but you can really only use blue Pikmin in here due to the pools of water, and we haven't really been farming those up.
Oh, dead.
Hey, it's me, Goku!
This is so sad. Can we crack some nuts? It took all my self-restraint to not blast Sephiroth in the head here. Hey guys, look what I got. Next moon, I decided to let my friends choose.
I have no idea what it is, so...
Neither do I. No plan! And I have no idea where the hell they took me. I actually spent half the day finding the fucking facility. And when I did... Oh! Yeah, if this was a solo run, even with all these overpowered upgrades, I would still be screwed 10 times over. Checking in once again, we are about 1 quota away from reaching the goal of the first run, needing only 1,000 more credits. To really set the final quota vibe, I decided to route us to another Pikmin moon, this being the Wistful Wilds from Pikmin 2. Now, real talk, I enjoy these moons. I love the maps, but I do think it's a little disappointing that every gameplay item here found in the games is just scrap. Then again, we don't really need spray or anything else because more scaling is the last thing we need right now. But enough negatives. I love that they tried to incorporate the dynamic music. If not for the size and the fact that every droppable is just scrap, I'd say they knocked it out of the park with these maps. And for the last moon, we decided to land at Black Mesa again. This was the moment I learned this map is actually broken, as we waited 15 minutes just for the damn place to load. And it's such a shame too, because I actually love playing on this map. It's absolutely huge, and the layout is extremely fun to navigate. You can get lost in it pretty easily, but as somebody that hasn't played the Half-Life games, I feel like I discover something new whenever I explore this interior. And you know this is saying something, considering I have the comparative bias in favor of Pikmin. Anyway, this run was kind of anticlimactic in its ending. We reached the 10k goal after just another assurance run, said our laters, and parted for the night. I personally think this was a great test run, and not only a ton of fun, but a great excuse to get some friends together. So that night I did another solo run just to see how far I could take the Cell Bodies mod, and I ended up with over 20k before cutting it off there. Even for me, that's quite overpowered, so for the second run, I'm going to be rebalancing the pack a little bit. Alright, the main changes for this run are as follows. Cell Bodies is gone. I'm keeping late game upgrades though, since you actively have to buy an upgrade to sell corpses. I'm just gonna hope that the cell values are more balanced as well. I'm also removing this medkit thing I used a fair bit off camera, since LGU also has a buyable medkit with limited uses, and Pikmin's is gone. Now, I admit my gripes with everything was a little over-exaggerated, but the actual deal breaker is that it takes the game 10 times longer just to boot. And since I am running this one solo, it should play different enough, so I'll save an additional rule I have in mind for later. Randomized moons. It's randomized moons. Sorry, I was way in over my head for this video lengthwise, so I'm gonna just do 2 runs and combine the rules. I mean, technically that other solo run was number 2, but I could literally just summarize it as I speedran Ice Pikmin, then farm Luigi's Mansion for 5 to 6 quotas. But yeah, considering I already spent a month working on other videos for people, I would rather not have another 3-month gap in my upload schedule. Anyway, back to the video. And now the last thing I will need for this run is a new identity.
Yo, it's me.
My boy Roland really just said, fuck domestic violence, we're going international.
Man, shout out to that whole Project Moon autism phase we had going on a while back. I met some really cool people from that.
Day 1. Starting off on Dine, I made a rookie mistake. I bought items before checking what the weather was. Oh, fuck. Thankfully, I was able to narrowly grab my stuff without getting eaten by a dog, before almost getting eaten by a giant 30 seconds later. Then the facility goes very normally, as I only had to deal with a man-eater. It's a pretty non-issue, so long as I keep things calm in a facility. I grab a few Luigi dolls and body parts before deciding to transfer to the ship. 30 seconds later, all hell breaks loose. Giant on one side, dog inside the ship, and a water wraith on the other side. Turns out the water wraith can not only get on top of your ship, but open your door as well. Why can't you get in here? This is gonna be a very fun challenge. Day 2, I landed on the Big Blue, plucked the Pikmin, and it warped me into the water, killing me instantly. Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm starting to really doubt my abilities here, and none of it has to do with the mods I removed. Luckily, next up I was landed on Luigi's Mansion. It was foggy, but should sustain me enough to at least make the first quota. The issue is with that though, I can't just survive these quotas. I have to thrive to reach 10k over. And it's not going so well. I think not being able to even play my routes is definitely having an effect on that. On top of it all, if I die, I also lose everything. TLDR, skill issue. Anyway, day 4. I landed on Hometown in Deltarune. Had a good run going, then spotted a baboon hawk and decided it would be smart to fight it at 20 HP. Day 5, I landed on Rend, then got repeatedly harassed by masked enemies at a bracken. 0 to 10 experience. HR will be hearing about this. Also, the game broke and didn't count me as leaving the moon. Unfortunately, I can't afford to redo Ren, so day 5.5. Actually pretty good. I made off with a decent bit of scrap and a winged onion. Day 6. So these are an insta-kill if they actually hit you. I was about to go back in for some more loot until... yeah, let's just meet quota. Now these days are generally pretty interesting in and of themselves, but now would probably be a good time to mention what I'm actually hoping for in terms of weather. Mild is, of course, ideal, but since most of the time it's unavoidable with the randomization, the worst ones for me to deal with are probably flooded and foggy. Flooded essentially locks me to specific routes and restricts my use of Pikmin to only 4 types. Or just none at all, because, you know, you don't actually need to use Pikmin in this. With winged Pikmin being thrown out of that equation with their terrible AI.
I think there's something wrong with your Pikmin, buddy. Oh, there. One of them just died.
Foggy makes it so I can't see jack shit. Not an issue if I know the moon layout. Issue, I only know like 3 moons off by heart. I'm not too picky on the moons themselves, but experimentation is really good for onion grabbing since it's so small. And the Mario moons are of course really good for loot itself. Honorable mention though for Rent, with it being my favorite vanilla moon at all. I personally just like that nutcrackers tend to spawn, and it's mainly a mansion interior, which I also love navigating. Speaking of weather, we got sent right to Titan. Eclipsed Titan. Basically, just makes the moon function as if it's night and ups enemy spawns. I personally find this weather pretty fun, but also, I'm fucking terrible at it. Back to Ren, my mission is to still get a shotgun. I could have gotten one on Titan, but unfortunately I failed to see a second nutcracker behind the one I was already attacking. Also, I forgot I had the recording paused for a Ren run. Hey, remember that one time I fought Markov? I made off with a rock onion while being haunted the whole time, as well as some other loot. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot the rock onion. Purple Pikmin. Also, it's Forsaken here. Why the fuck is there a hurricane? Alright, let's retry that. This did not go any better.
It's me, Goku!
I did eventually call in a friend and start a run 3, which went slightly better. I had everything scripted, but I was running into constant crashes with Lethalmin on vanilla moons, eventually leaking into the file itself and turning into fucking lost media. All hope seemed gone with that run until 2 key moments though. Firstly, when I eventually bought the Hunter perk to sell corpses, which, by the way, is by default much more balanced. The samples for pretty much everything were worth about 130 credits each. Argue what you want about it, but at least it's not 600 for a damn baboon hawk. And secondly, white Pikmin onion. In Lethalmin, these things are probably the best Pikmin in the game. I'm talking better than purples in a second game, and you know how high of a bar that is to clear. So let me quickly explain white Pikmin real quick. They deal less damage innately, but they're the fastest in the game, are immune to poison, which in Lethalmin is the zombie whistle, and on top of that, they deal massive damage to whatever eats them. This damage was actually pretty good in Pikmin 2, but in that game there was no white onion, and the cost to sacrifice him was in fact too great. Do not tell the Pale King I said that though. So anyway, in Lethalmin, white Pikmin deal massive amounts of damage to anything that eats them, specifically 3 hits of a shovel worth. So once you get the white onion, you can just set them somewhere, let them get eaten, and then when whatever eats them dies, just use purple and a bunch of whites to then make more whites. It's basically just another cycle of I farm this area, except the area in question is just anywhere outside on any moon, so long as it's not like flooded or anything. Side note though, the fact that this is on Luigi's Mansion is purely coincidental. So, unfortunately, run 2 was a fail, and run 3 was pretty inconclusive. Also, throwback to when I said I wasn't doing a run 3, yeah, so that was a fucking lie. Inconclusive as it was though, you can probably guess how that one ended with the white supremacy strat in mind. I definitely learned a lot from these runs and had a whole bunch of things to share, so if not the fun I had, those reasons make it a win in my book. Lethalmin definitely breaks Lethal Company at its core in so many ways, but it also changes up the gameplay so much, I think it's worth a shot for anybody. I would especially recommend it though if you find yourself either bored of Lethal Company or just want a new Pikmin experience because, well, Nintendo can be kinda slow sometimes. Special thanks to my buddies who were able to join me in my playthrough.
Oh yeah, also, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video.
And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.